TB is a long-standing illness that primarily affects the lungs in 80% of the patients, but it can also affect other parts of the body.
The most common form of disease is the disease that affects our lungs, especially among the adults. The disease that affects the lungs is the most common type. Over 80% of the TB we see in the country is TB in the lungs. So that is the commonest. But there are other forms, like I said, in the abdomen, in the bones. Once in a while you find such cases. And those who get these types of TB, especially for the bones, the meninges, are those that are immune compromised mainly. We have the elderly, sometimes the children. They find those forms of TB more common in those age groups.
It is an infectious disease that is transmitted through air, coughing, laughing, singing, and talking from an infected person.
That if you have been coughing for the last 2 weeks and more, for more than 2 weeks, you also feel some feverish, please go and tell a health worker that, you know what, I've been coughing for the last 3 weeks, I've swallowed all this amoxicillin, they have given me this, but this cough is not going. Can you investigate me further for my problem of this coughing?
So if you have somebody in the home that has got that TB and has made the germs in the air that you share with them float in the air and you breathe them in, this preventive therapy helps you to ensure that whatever germ that has entered your body you don't progress to disease.
The signs of TB include prolonged cough that does not respond to treatment, unexplained weight loss, night sweats, and loss of appetite. Even when TB is preventable, treatable, and curable, it still remains one of the critical killer diseases. The head of the TB clinic at Mulago Hospital, Dr. Susan Adakun, says on average there are 30 admissions daily.
The situation of TB is that we are seeing increasing cases per day. For example, in our TB unit here, that the lab tests 70 sputum samples for TB daily, and of those 70, 4 of them turn out to be positive.
Mulago TB Clinic has modern GenExpert machines for TB screening. One of the major challenges the Ministry of Health finds in managing TB is finding those who are infected, because out of 90,000 new cases, only about 72,000 are traced, and those who are not found continue spreading the disease.
So let's say if we have 90,000 and then we find, say, 70, that means there's 20,000 there we didn't find. Now the problem with those 20,000 we didn't find, because they are interacting with their friends, they are moving around in the taxi, in the buses, they are drinking a journal, they are drinking with their friends, so they are spreading further. So now the burden is not only them, the 20,000, but also the spread they cause. So you'll find next year the burden is even bigger than 90,000. So that's why we really want to find them as much as possible.
Even for those who are enrolled on treatment, the completion rate is between 6 to 7% because the treatment takes 6 months, but with improvements in treatment, this time is likely to reduce.
The treatment of MDR-TB is long, from 9 months on the minimum to 20 months on the maximum. And currently we're using drugs where the duration has been long, and therefore some patients were not completing their treatment. But recently, the World Health Organization has given us new guidelines where they have reduced the duration of treatment to 6 months. So we have 6 months and only 4 drugs: bedaquiline, clomid, linezolid, and oxyfloxacin. And we hope that this shortened treatment of fewer drugs will actually improve treatment outcomes, and that our patients will all be able to cope with their medication.
Some patients shared their experiences on how they discovered that they had TB. Namuli Winfred successfully completed the treatment, and now her life has come back to normal.
After having fallen sick for a long time, suffering from heavy cough, I tried to treat it in different clinics and hospitals. Then I decided to go to a bigger health center. That was Naguru Health Center, China, Uganda. Doctor directed me to go for CBC. That's where they sent me to Uganda Care, and Uganda Care has forwarded me to the TB clinic. Yeah, there from the TB clinic, I was removed aspartum. They told me to come back the next day. So a doctor told me from that beginning that I was found TB positive, and she told me that I shouldn't worry because TB can get cured so long as I follow her instructions and take very well the medicine.
However, stigma and discrimination also contribute to the frustration of TB management. Initially, people thought that every person with TB has HIV, but according to Ministry of Health, only 32% of TB patients have HIV and close to 70% have no HIV.
Actually, most of my friends discriminated me, but like I had some church members whom I could pray with. They could come and encourage me, plus the advice of a doctor, so I couldn't mind them, those who could discriminate me. I just had to fight for a chance to have my life again.
People should know that TB is a disease like any other. Like we even have the good thing, now with HIV, it's no longer stigmatized like it used to be in the past. People would even fear to go to the clinic because of HIV. So the same with TB. Let's not stigmatize the people. Anybody can get TB, and anybody can be treated for TB, and you recover fully. So
the United States Agency for International Development supports the Ministry of Health to strengthen TB case detection through the CAST TB program. In a nutshell, TB is a disease that can be prevented, treated and cured, and therefore government needs to ensure that screening and treatment services are scaled up, but also the individuals need to seek care in case they notice signs pointing to TB, with the common sign being a cough and exceeds 2 weeks. I'm Nafka Farida and Nalongo Rose Bukira in Kampala.